Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna work on some mandrakes. Look how adorable these are. And for today's project, you're gonna need some worsted weight yarn. I used some tan and some green. We are going to need 16mm safety eyes, some scissors, these sticks that come with your polyfill. This is optional because you can use your crochet hook for this. Talking about crochet hooks, I used a G hook, which is a 4.25mm hook. We're going to need some pins and then some tapestry needles and some stitch markers. Oh yes, also some polyfill. I did want to put out a disclaimer out there. I am left-handed, so the video is with my left hand. However, the stitch count should be the same. If there's any deviation between left-handed and right-handed, I do make sure to make a note of it, and I will speak of it, and I will teach you how to do the modifications for a right hand. The video is just gonna show with my left hand. And one more disclaimer before we start. This is not a beginner pattern. Yes, is it very easy? Absolutely. It is quick and an easy project to make. However, the way that the video is planned out, it is very fast paced. It is meant for you to crochet along. I'm not actually gonna teach you any basics of crocheting. I'm simply showing you how to do the pattern. So I do a voiceover of the stitches that I'm using, and I also provide text on the screen with the pattern for you to follow along as well. You should already know, I don't want to say intermediate because it's really not that hard to make. However, the pattern is, or the video I guess would be considered intermediate. It is fast paced. I'm not teaching you how to do any of the stitching. It's just literally, I'm gonna show you and it's gonna go boom, 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 boom. This is how I can keep it down to only one video. And this video specifically is about an hour and 15 minutes of just showing you the work, although the project is almost 3 hours from start to finish. So yes, those are the two disclaimers that I want to put right at the beginning. So I hate long intros, so let's get started. For round number 1, you're going to do a magic ring or a chain 2 and work on that very first stitch, and you're going to do 8 single crochets.
I try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it up to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close.
For round number 2, we're simply going to do a single crochet increase in each stitch all the way around.
Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now.
For round number 3, we're going to do a single crochet increase on the first stitch and a single crochet on the next stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around. So start with your single crochet increase and then a single crochet.
It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. I try to let go of all of the nonsense that you
And this is a perfect time to grab your stitch marker because the shape's going to change a little bit on this round. So for round number 4, we're going to start with 2 single crochets. So put a stitch marker on that very first stitch, then do your second crochet, single crochet. And now this is where your sequence is going to start. You're going to start with doing 2 single stitch increases. So here's your first increase, your second increase, and now you're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're gonna do a single increase twice and 4 single stitches 2 more times. Now we're going to do a single crochet increase, another single crochet increase, and a single stitch in the last 2 stitches. For round number 5, we're going to do a single crochet in the very first 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and place a stitch marker on that very first stitch that you made. And now we're going to start your sequence. So your sequence for this one is a single crochet increase, a single crochet increase, and a single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And the sequence is going to be repeated for a total of 3 times. Look at those speedy hands. Fast. And I look fast here, but this is fake. Now we're going to do a single crochet increase in the next 2 stitches. So there's your first increase and your second increase. And now single crochet in the last 3 stitches. For round 6 through 16, you're simply going to single stitch in each stitch around, and I will meet you back when we're done with this part. Hey, I missed, yeah. So this is round 6 through 16. I just finished my 16th round, and we're getting ready to start round 17. So for round 17, we're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Place your stitch marker on that very first stitch. And this is gonna start your sequence right now. We're gonna start with 2 single crochet decreases. So there's your first one. Second one, and now you're gonna single crochet in the next 6 stitches. You're gonna repeat the sequence for a total of 3 times. To finish off round 17, we're going to do 2 single stitch decreases. So there's your first one and your second one, and a single crochet in the last 3 stitches. For round 18, we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. You're going to place a stitch marker on that very first stitch that you made. And here's the start of your sequence. You're going to single crochet decrease twice. 1 decrease, 2 decreases, and you're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. You're going to repeat the sequence for a total of 3 times.
I need loving, need myself, ain't enough. It's like being a doctor to a crushing heart. I want you to know how bad it hurts. You got me beside along my heart. Are you dreaming of me now?
To finish off round 18, we're going to do a single crochet decrease twice and a single stitch in the next 2 stitches, or the last 2 stitches. For our eyes, we're going to count 5 stitches, including the stitch marker stitch, and then we're going to go up 7 rounds. I like to place that stitch marker there, or sorry, that pin there to point out the middle, and then we're going to go 4 stitches in either direction. I like using pins just because it gives me like a cleaner look of exactly where the eyes are going to look. This way I can make sure that it's evenly placed and that it looks symmetrical on the face. So once I'm happy with the placement, I'm just going to go ahead and place the safety eyes and secure them down. And this way with the pins, if you don't like where the eyes are, you can easily move them before you go through and try to poke your safety eyes through. So yeah, if you need to move the eyes a little bit over to the side, you can do it. I know sometimes stitches fall differently. So I'm just gonna lightly stuff here and we're gonna continue. For round 19, we're going to single crochet decrease, place that stitch marker, and a single crochet on the next stitch, and you're just going to continue this sequence all the way around. For round number 20, you're simply going to single crochet decrease all the way around. For round number 21, you're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around.
I mind my own, I don't even break a sweat. Oh, this matters is insane. Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's sad to hear the lights under the street light.
For round number 22, do a single crochet increase in each stitch all the way around.
I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. Untold stories, they were left
At this point, I am comfortable enough with fully stuffing the head. You can use one of those fancy sticks your polyfill comes with, or you can use your crochet hook to do so. Just keep stuffing until your project bounces back to you. If it doesn't bounce back, then that's understuffed, but if it's like really hard, then that means you might have slightly overstuffed it. But you know what? It is your personal choice, and you stuff it like you see fit. So for round number 23, we're going to do a single crochet increase on that very first stitch. Place our handy dandy stitch marker, and then do a single crochet on your next stitch, and repeat that sequence all the way around.
You used to stop this world from spinning. Like Superman, you were the only one to find.
So for round number 24, we're going to do a single crochet increase. Place your stitch marker on that very first stitch, and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and you're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. For round number 25, look at me fighting that yarn. Bad yarn. So for round number 25, we're going to start with a single crochet increase. And then place your stitch marker on that very first stitch. And now you're going to single crochet in the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now you're just going to repeat that sequence 3 more times. On round number 26 is when we're gonna form the arm holes. So to start round number 26, we're going to skip the first 8 stitches. So count your 8 stitches, and on that 9th stitch, we're going to place a single crochet. And now you're gonna single crochet in the next 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. You guys like my counting abilities? 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you should have 10 stitches. Look at me counting. Yes. Now you're going to skip the next 8 stitches. And on that 9th stitch, you're going to place a single crochet. Did we forget how to crochet there, Sonia? Look at me recounting. Alright, there we go. On that 9th stitch, place a single stitch. And now single crochet in the last 9 stitches. Everything that drags me down, I need to focus. for round number 27, we're going to do a single crochet increase and a single crochet in the next stitch, and you're going to do that all the way around. So here's your single crochet increase, and place your stitch marker, and then do your single crochet. You're going to repeat this all the way around.
But you're too far away to see the signs. So I'm staring at the sun till I'm dry. 'Cause I need to learn to forget everything that drives.
So for round 28 and 29, you're simply going to single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you back. So here we are after round 29, and now for round 30, we're going to start with a single crochet decrease and place your stitch marker, and then a single crochet, and you're going to repeat the sequence all the way around.
Try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it up to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah.
We are gonna start on that very first leg, and for round 1 of leg 1, we're gonna start with a single crochet in the first 5 stitches. So do your first single crochet and place your stitch marker, and 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now you're gonna skip 10 stitches. And on that 11th stitch, you're gonna place a single crochet, and now single crochet in the last 4 stitches. So I'm gonna cut the clip right here because I did run out of yarn, so I had to reattach the new yarn. But yeah, you should have 10 stitches for round 1 of your first leg. And then for round 2 of the leg, you're simply going to single crochet all the way around.
I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah.
For round 3 of the leg, we're going to start out with a single crochet decrease, and place your stitch marker, and now you're gonna crochet on the next 3 stitches, and then you're gonna repeat the sequence one more time for a total of 8 stitches at the end of this round. For round 4, you're simply going to single crochet all the way around.
When we so young, I could never see.
For round number 5, we're going to start out with a single crochet decrease. And I quit using my stitch marker because it's getting pretty tight. But yeah, do a decrease and a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And you're going to repeat the sequence one more time. For round number 6, you're simply going to single crochet all the way around. For that very last round, we're going to decrease all the way around. I know this is going to get really tight. Take your time because we're going from 6 stitches to only 3 stitches, and this is going to be really tight. If for some reason you can't get it in through all the stitches, you can use the front loops only, because those might be easier to see and to work on. So just single crochet, decrease all the way around. You should have 3 stitches total. Now we're going to start on the tiny roots at the bottom of the feet. So to do that, we're going to chain 9. And now you're going to slip stitch on that second chain from the hook. And then slip stitch on the next 7 chains. And now you're gonna slit stitch to that very next stitch. I used the front loops only because it was a little bit easier, and this is just to anchor down the root and so you can start your next one. So slit stitch to join on that very next stitch, and now chain 9 and repeat the process 2 more times so you have 3 cute little roots at the bottom. When you're done, you want to fasten off, leave maybe about a 6-8 inch tail. For some reason, when I recorded this clip, I gave myself a lot of time to talk about this leg. So I'm over here over-explaining, I guess, on my clip in this voiceover. So that was just a bunch of words together and that don't need to be here, but they're here because this clip is really long. But if you are right-handed, your foot's just gonna be on the opposite side of mine. So if I'm looking at mine, I have the left foot done, and now I'm going to work on the right foot. So if you're right-handed, it's just going to be the opposite direction, and that's totally fine. However, the stitch count does not change at all. It is still worked the same. Look at those 10 stitches, and we're going to attach our hook on the 5th stitch if you're counting from the back towards you or towards the side, right? So over here you can see we have the 10 stitches. I'm going to show you all 10 of them, and then from the back I'm going to count 5. So 1, wow, I don't even know what I'm doing with my hands here. But yeah, I'm attaching my hook on that 5th stitch from the back, and now I'm going to crochet 5 single crochets alongside the back in each one of the stitches. Baby's got some words of wisdom as well. So that's 4 or 3. And I'm gonna turn my work, and now I'm working alongside the front of the doll. I'm gonna attach my hook on that, or yeah, insert my hook on that very first stitch on the front, and now I'm gonna single crochet in the next 4. And you should have a total of 10 stitches for round number 1. And now I'm just gonna speed through the rest of the leg because it is worked exactly like leg number 1. So round 2, you're gonna single crochet all the way around. I do have the text card here on the screen, so you can just pause right here. The only difference was how that first round was worked out. All the other rounds plus the roots are worked exactly the same as the other chain. So now I'm just over talking, but yeah, you can pause here so you can have the text of the stitch counts, and I'm just gonna speed through this video. And here I'm just gonna start stuffing. So I'm gonna grab a really small amount of stuffing, and then with my fancy stick I'm gonna push it into that tip of the leg, and I'm going to do the same with the opposite leg. And now when I'm stuffing the body, I'm only gonna stuff up about halfway through because I wanna leave like a clear path in between the arms so I'm not accidentally crocheting over the stuffing. And then the only other thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reinforce that neck. So I'm gonna add more stuffing to that neck area, but just make sure that when you can look through the armholes and you can see straight through without any stuffing. And this just gonna prevent you from accidentally crocheting over your stuffing, because that's really annoying.
Untold stories, they were left behind. Silent breeze, I got nothing on my mind.
So we have reached the hardest part in the whole pattern. This is the part that I hate explaining every single time, but I'm gonna do my best. If you are left-handed, we're gonna work on the left arm, and if you're right-handed, you're gonna work on the right arm. The stitch counts are going to be exactly the same. You're just working on opposite arms. Now the best way that I'm gonna explain this is by saying this: there are 8 stitches on the side that we skipped from that one row that are unworked. 6 of those stitches are going to be worked regularly, and 2 of those stitches we're going to use as decreases with those loops that you can kind of see on the armhole. And this is just to prevent an extremely large hole that you're not going to have to sew shut later on.
You used to stop this world from spinning.
So I'm gonna stop rambling about this and just go ahead and show you. If you're right-handed, your second stitch is right there. If you're left-handed, we're gonna put it on that second stitch on the back side of your work. So you're just gonna attach your yarn and do a chain 1. Now you're going to single crochet on that same stitch where you joined your yarn, and now we're gonna do our first decrease. You're gonna see here I messed up. I forgot to yarn over my yarn, but there's your next stitch. This is just the first one on the back side, and that loop right on that armpit, and that's where we're going to do our decrease with. Here I'm going to realize I did it wrong and I'm going to undo it, but there you go. There's that beautiful decrease with that loop right on that armpit. And now we're going to do our next decrease, which is going to be with that next available loop right on that armpit. There should be 2 very visible ones. There you go, right there. And then on that very first stitch on the front side. And now next you're simply going to crochet a single stitch in the next 5 stitches.
Superhero in your sleep. A superhero in your sleep. You came, you close. All my glass, you hold. Oh, oh, when I fall too deep, leave me having no way to save me, babe.
For row number 2, we're just going to simply single crochet all the way around. For round number 3, we're going to do a single crochet decrease and then a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and you're going to do that twice all the way around for a total of 6 stitches.
And you're too far away to help me now. So I'm counting down the days to get out. 'Cause I need to learn to forget everything that drags me down. I need to forget everything inside me now. Full speed ahead. Fly from the end. So I'm full speed ahead.
For round number 4, you're simply going to single stitch all the way around for a total of 6 stitches. For round number 5, just like on the legs, we're going to decrease all the way around. I know this part is going to be really tight, so just take your time making sure you're inserting the hook in the right stitches. I know sometimes it can be a little bit hard to look. If you need to, you can use only the front loops. It's not going to make any difference. We're going to use up the tails later on to close up any holes that may be right there, but yeah.
Staring at the sun till I'm dry. 'Cause I need to learn to drags me down. I need to focus everything inside me now.
So now we're gonna work on those roots, and now we're going to chain 7, and we're gonna slit stitch on that second chain from the hook and the next 5 chains. And just like on the legs, we're gonna slit stitch to the next front loop only, and you're going to repeat that 2 more times so we have 3 cute little roots.
Full speed now. Full speed, got the pedal down. Full speed now. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going to apologize. My baby is in this cooing mode, but I really want to get this video out to you guys so you may hear the baby on the background. But right now I'm just going to grab my stick and I'm going to start stuffing the opposite arm. Really get it in there. Go with small batches because the tip of the arms is really thin, so just take your time and slowly make sure that it's fully stuffed. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and only stuff about halfway through the body, and on the next arm we're actually going to stuff as we go, just to be careful not to crochet over your stuffing.
Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold
So for the next arm, it's going to be the same concept as we did before. We're going to attach on that second stitch from the back. And now we're just going to work it on the opposite stitch count. So we're going to start out with 6 single crochets. So attach your hook on that second stitch from the back. Do your first single crochet, and on the next 5.
You're mine. It's right. It's right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me what must
After you do your 6 stitches, now we're going to do those decreases with the armpit loops. So on that last stitch on the front and the loop on that armpit, do your first decrease. And now the next loop, I call them loops because they're not actually full stitches, but the next loop on that armpit hole and that very first stitch on the back side, and do your decrease right there. Now the rest of the arm is going to be worked exactly the same as the other arms, so I'm just going to speed through the video. The text again is on the screen so you can follow through. It's just worked the same way, and I didn't want to have extra footage on the screen. So I will meet you back in a minute. And I do also want to point it out that please start stuffing your arm as you go. Make sure you push it down enough to where you're not crocheting over your stuffing, but that it still gets stuffed. And then when you're on round 4 where you did the last 6 single crochets, start stuffing there before you do the final round 5 decreases. So at this point we're going to grab our needle and we're going to sew in our ends. Now I don't think this is necessary because I think the holes are pretty small already, but just in case to make it more secure, I'm going to close the holes shut with those tails. So I'm just going back and forth. I'm just really tightening them just to make sure no stuffing tries to escape. But yeah, so for one of the tails on one of the legs, we're actually going to use to close the hole in between the legs. So here you can see me unweaving in the yarn down the leg into that hole, and I'm just gonna whip stitch whip stitch it closed. I tried doing the decrease technique here on the legs, but I didn't actually like the look of it. It kind of made them uneven a little bit. So yeah, just whip stitch it closed and then weave in your tail, and then you can go ahead and do the same thing with the other tails where you're just closing that hole shut and then weaving in your end.
Why did we need the thrill to be happy? Popping pills to feel the love now, don't we? We'll go wild. Eventually, what goes up must come down.
As I was trying to record this voiceover, I realized that I cannot say the word anatomically. So I do not know the proper anatomy of a plant, so we're just going to call these the stems. So for this one, you're going to start out with a 6-inch tail and make 6 chains. And then you're going to join to that very first chain to make a ring. Then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to single crochet in each one of these chains. So there's my second one, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now there is no need to join. We're just gonna work in continuous rounds for a total of 8 rounds. And here, make sure you pull your tail out so it's on the outside and not on the inside. And yes, just continue working 6 single crochets for a total of 8 rounds. When you get to the top, there is no need to join, simply fast enough. You do not need a long tail, but we're going to use it for stuffing later on. So just fasten it off, and now on your last one, because you're making 3 of these tubes, on your very last one, do leave the yarn attached. 'Cause I'm drowning in something and I can't come out. So now you've completed all 3 of your tubes, and now we're gonna work on joining them. So on the very last tube you made with your yarn still attached, single crochet in the first 4 stitches. Also, make sure you're using a stitch marker just so we match that very first stitch. So here you are, making your first 4 single crochets. Now you're gonna grab your second tube and you're gonna do a single crochet on the very last stitch you made of that round 8, and then you're gonna single crochet in the next 3 stitches. When you are single crocheting, do make sure that your tails are on the inside and not on the outside.
It's like being alone in a crashing car. I need you to know how bad it hurts. Hearing the sound of my broken heart.
And there is my 4th stitch on that stem, and now you're gonna grab your next stem and then do a single crochet on that very last stitch that you made and on the next 3 stitches, and also make sure that your tail is on the inside of them and not on the outside. So there's my first one, my second one, 3 and 4. So for round number 2 on the stem, you're just going to single crochet all the way around. So we're not joining, I'm just going straight up and working my first stitch of round 2 and that very first stitch of the first stem that we made, so we can create a full circle. So that's why it was important to mark that first stitch. And then simply single crochet all the way around for a total of 12 stitches for round 2. For round 3 of the stem, you're going to single crochet decrease all the way around. You should have 6 stitches at the end of this round.
My own, I don't even break a sweat. Oh, this madness is insane. Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's time to hit the lights under the street lights, under the street lights. I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes.
And then for your last round, you are going to single crochet in each stitch for a total of 6 stitches. And now you can join at the end of this round and fasten off. And you want to leave maybe a 6-inch tail.
Silent breeze, I got nothing on my mind. This madness is insane. Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's time to hit the lights under the street lights, under the street lights.
So now you want to grab your yarn needle and sew the hole closed. Now I did think about this, and the reason I designed it this way is if you by any chance want to use wire to make the leaves, that would be like a really cute tube to put the wire in. But if not, just sew it closed. Bring your yarn down and close that bottom hole, and use those tails from the other stems as stuffing. So I'm just going over here and closing it off and then weaving in that tail, so there's no hole in between the 3 stems. And that right there is your little stems. I really should know what that is called, but how cute it is. So now we're gonna work on attaching this to the head. Now this is your personal preference. I like to use small pins just to secure it in place, so I can make sure that I like the fit before I actually sew them on. So the way that I did this, I lined up the outer edge of one of the tubes to the 4th row from the center, and you want to center it with the eye that you're going on. So this one I'm working on the right eye, so it's the seam is aligned with the 4th round and it's centered with that eye, and then I'm going to pin it in place. And then I'm going to do the same with the opposite side. I'm going to count 4 stitches or 4 rounds down. I'm going to align it with the outer edge of that next stem and make sure that it's centered with that eye, or not centered, I should say aligned with that eye. Now for the back one, we're going to do the same. We're going to count 4 rounds down. We're going to align that outer edge, but this time we want to make sure that it's perfectly centered between the other 2 stems. And then you can just go ahead and whip stitch them all around and weave in your ends.
Superhero in your sleep. A superhero.
So now we're gonna work on the shaping. I'm gonna try my hardest at trying to explain this. I'm gonna grab a long strand of my yarn, and I did about 5 times the length, the height of my Mandrake. And now you're gonna pinch those eyes in, and we're gonna work on the left side first. You can start on the right side, whichever side you prefer. So I'm gonna pinch in that eye and kind of give me a clue where I'm gonna start that eyebrow. So push the eye in, cinch in the brow, see where you want it to begin, and I'm using that corner. So I'm coming in through the back, pinching it in, and bringing the needle to the edge of that eyebrow. And here I'm going to zoom in a little bit. The way that I did it, if you imagine a square outside of the eye, I did it on the top left corner. So if you're starting on the right, do it on the top right corner. But you want to get it as close as you can to the beginning of that eyebrow, if that made sense. If you can see it right there. There we go. And I'm going to pull it up. Make sure you don't pull all the way through. You want to leave a decently sized tail in the back, and you want to hold on to it, because as you're pulling, you don't want to lose that tail. So cinch it in. Shape your eyebrow, pinch it down. You're gonna go 1 stitch over and then come up and pull your yarn. You don't have to pull this one tight yet because it's just the very first one, and you don't want to accidentally pull your tail out and lose it. So keep pinching. You're gonna go 1 stitch over and then bring it down. Now make sure when you're doing this, you're getting as close to the eye as you can. Try to kind of go like underneath it maybe, and also make sure you don't lose that tail. So I'm just gonna continue doing this for the eyebrow. I'm just pinching in, going 1 stitch over, and pulling the yarn through. right here, I'm gonna start on the nose bridge. And so I'm bringing my yarn down. So I did my first eyebrow. I'm bringing the yarn down, and now I'm gonna do a nose bridge. Now this next clip, I was gonna take it off because I messed up, but I wanted to show you just in case what can happen if you're not very careful with where you're pulling your yarn out from. So here I'm cinching the eyes together, and I didn't get close enough to the eye. I'm sorry, this baby's very chatty today. So when I pulled it through, here I'm about to show you. So when I pulled it, it kind of deformed the face. So when I was doing this, you want to get really close. I had a really hard time taking it apart. So I just left this clip in because we all make mistakes, and I just wanted to show you to just take your time and try not to speed through this part. So here I was able to finally find that yarn and pull it out, and then insert it back and go literally right under the eye. So I had to pull out the eye out a little bit to be able to shape it. And same, I'm going right underneath the eye and then coming out right underneath the opposite eye and then pulling it through. And now make sure that at this point, make sure that you're pulling straight as you go. I mean, pulling hard as you go and getting it to the shape that you want. And now we're gonna start working on the opposite eyebrow, and it's just gonna work the same way. So I'm going over one round in this case and bringing it back up so I can start working on that right eyebrow, or I guess technically right in the center. It's gonna look different right now because we're gonna work on the actual nose a little bit later, but for now we're gonna work on that right eyebrow. And just like you did it on the left, pinch and try to go as tight as you need to for the shape that you want to create.
I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right, right, right. It's right, 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 right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to you, come to you.
So once you're done with the other eyebrow, we're gonna come in, and I wanted to have like a more of a droopy look, and I really wanted those eyebrows to pop down into the nose. So as you can see, I'm pinching the middle, and I want to meet it to the round right underneath the eyes. So pinch it through, get a visual, and then mark that stitch with your finger, and then make sure you bring out your yarn out that hole that you decided to use. And now I'm just going back and forth a couple of times to really secure those brows down and kind of make it look like he's got a cute little tiny nose. So here I'm just cinching it down and just like right on the surface, grabbing those stitches and go back a couple of times. Go back and forth a couple of times.
Why did we need the thrill to be happy? Popping pills to feel the love now, don't we? We'll go on. Eventually, what goes up must come down.
Once you're happy with the look, you can tell mine looks slightly different. I'm still very new to shaping. I can't make them look the same every single time, but I think that's what makes this unique. Each one of them has their own little personality. The one I'm working on right now is just a little slightly angry. So we're gonna start embroidering the eye, we're gonna start embroidering the mouth. And what I did is I picked 2 full rounds, because you can see that round right underneath the eye is only half. So 2 full rounds under the center of that eye, and we're going to work from center of the eye to the next center of the eye. So 2 full rounds down from the eye. Now bring out my yarn, pull it out, and now we're just gonna kind of embroider the mouth. And the way that I did this is I went straight down, inserted my hook, and I went straight up and pulled it out. Now for the first one, we're doing 2 on the same stitch. And then for the next one, we're gonna go over 1 stitch and straight up. It's gonna kind of create like a slanted line. And you're gonna go on that same stitch and straight up again. Now you're gonna have a straight line, and you're just gonna repeat this. Go over 1, pull it straight up, insert it on that same stitch and pull it straight up, and then you're gonna go over 1, and you're just gonna continue doing that until you get to the other side. And now when you get to the other side, you're just gonna come back. We're only gonna go over once this time. Right in the middle of the mouth, I went a couple more times to make that middle part of the lip a little bit thicker. But you're just gonna go over 1, come straight up, go over 1, come straight up when you're coming back. And now we're just gonna bring the tail out 1 stitch over from the tail that we started, knot it up a couple of times, and then weave in 1 end. I'm sorry, I'm off of frame here, so I just weaved in 1 end, and on the next one I am pushing that knot on the inside before I weave in that second stitch. Oh, sorry, when I weave in that second tail. And we're just weaving it in.
I need your loving, 'cause I'm drowning in something and I can't come out. Just show me loving.
And here we are at the very end. We're going to start the leaves. They're very simple and easy, and you don't need to start out with a long tail, but we're going to chain 8. So I like working on the back bumps. I know for the roots I didn't, because I didn't think it was important, but for this leaf detail I think it's very important to work on those back bumps. I will show you later on what the difference is between working on the regular chain and working on the back bump, but try to do it on the back bump. It's just gonna come out so much nicer, and I'll show you in a minute why. But right now you chain your 8, and you're going to slit stitch on that very first back bump. So here I'm showing you the regular chain, and this is usually how you would work it. That back bump, you actually have to turn your chain and you'll see those back bumps right in the back. And it just gives you a different finish, but we're gonna work on that first back bump. Not on the second one, on the very first one you're going to slit stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet on that very next back bump, a half double crochet on the next back bump, a double crochet on the next 2 back bumps. So there's your first double crochet and your second double crochet, And now to finish off the leaf, we're going to do a triple crochet in the next or the last 3 back bumps. Now if you don't know how to do a triple crochet, you're simply going to, I'm going to show you right here, we're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook into that back bump, pull up a loop, and now you're going to pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops, and pull through 2 loops. And then so you should have a slip stitch, a single stitch, a half double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 triple crochets. And then you're going to chain 8 and repeat this step for a total of 8 times. But here I'm going to show you real quick. The reason I like working on the back bumps is because you get those really nice V stitches going all the way around the top of the leaf. So you can see right here, those V's are really nice on this side and they're nice on the other side. It just makes it look more uniform. This is purely a me problem. It's just the way that I like the way that it looks. If you want to work on regular chains, you can. The only difference is you're gonna have to chain 9, and that first slit stitch you're gonna have to do it on the second chain from your hook. So right here I'm gonna show you, I'm working up quickly on that second leaf, just working on a regular chain and not the back bumps, and you'll see the difference between the two. As you can see, if you work on just the regular chain, you're just gonna be left with 1 bump. And if you do work on the back bumps, you're just gonna have that very clean V look. So I hope this shows you the difference between working in the back bumps and then working on the regular chains. So continue making the leaves. You're just gonna chain 8, do the sequence of stitches, and then chain 8 again. You want a total of 8 leaves. If you want more, you are more than welcome to make a super leafy mandrake, but it's up to you. So I'll meet you back when my leaves are done.
Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's sad to hear the lights under the street lights, under the street lights.
So here is my string of leaves. You can see they're kind of curled up a little bit. Grab your, you want to fasten off with a long tail, and we're going to attach it to the mandrake. So I'm going to turn them inside, or with the wrong side facing me, the curls facing the mandrake. I know this is gonna look kind of silly because they're facing down and they're curling in, but we will fan them out later. But right now we just want to attach them to that very bottom of the bulb that we created with the tubes. And you're just gonna whip stitch, and you want to do this in a spiral way. And when you're sewing them on, try to offset the leaves so they're not right on top of each other. And what I was gonna say, go through the post of that treble crochet and not around it. So because if you go around it, it's going to create some sort of gap. So as you can see here, I'm just trying to show you how to spiral it around that bulb that we made right up top, and then offset your leaves. I did have some technical difficulties here with my camera, so I wasn't able to fully record this whole process, but I tried. Alright, so here we've sewn them all in. We continued that spiral work. Make sure you're not stretching your leaves too much, and if you can see, I was offsetting my leaves so they're not one right on top of the other. And at this point, you're just gonna bring it really close to that beginning tail and then tie it off and then weave in your ends.
tonight. And if you keep me close, every minute in this hourglass you hold. Oh, 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 and when I fall too deep, we be right then I'll wait to say it. A superhero in your sleep.
So I didn't, well, I said weave in ends, but because we tied the tails together and there's really no place to weave it in because I didn't want to weave it in into the leaves, I'm just pulling it through into the stems and then just to hide the tails, because you don't really have anywhere to weave it in other than pull it down into those stems. And that would be all. You guys finished. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this one. I know I haven't posted much on YouTube and this is my first video back after 7 months, so I'm still trying to relearn everything because it's been so long since I posted. But thank you so much for watching this. If by any chance you do happen to make it, please tag me in one of my social media accounts. You're gonna see those in my end card. My tags. I would love to see your work. You can tag me on TikTok or Instagram. I really hope you do enjoy it, and I hope you stick around and watch some bloopers at the end of this video. And here, just real quick, I'm gonna show you my original leaves were a lot shorter. I wanted bigger leaves. The only difference is I chained one less because I did one less treble, but I think adding that treble at the end gave it a really nice extra touch. It made them a little bit longer and easier to see. So yeah, play around with the placement of the leaves. So like I said before, you could make your own leaves and adding little wires so they stick out more from the top. But yes, thank you again and see you next time.
The sequence for a total of 3 times.
And we're gonna start out by crocheting. I forgot how to talk. So we're gonna start on the first leg, and for the leg for round 1 we're gonna start. Are you kidding me? The very first stitch closest to the opposite leg on the back side. Oh my god, did that even make sense? But you're gonna count 5. That's if you were right-handed, you would count that way. But yeah, you have 10. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why can't I explain things like a normal person? I quit. I quit. Drew. But yes, you're just gonna continue. Chain 8. Oh my god, are you kidding me, Alexa? What don't you know? I didn't even say Alexa. Quit being weird. Stop it.
I don't know that one.
So I'm going to turn them inside, or with the wrong side facing me, the curls facing the mandrake. I know this is gonna, if you like, ooh, an optional I did want to hop on real before